and welcome into Getting Help from Uncle Sam. We use that as a term, even though today we're going to be talking about some very important legal things, more importantly, your will. And I have my guest, Brian Moore, and you're Brian Moore, attorney at law.
I am.
And it's called the Brian Moore Law Firm.
It is.
To make it just simpler from that aspect.
Thank you for having me.
And Brian, I was talking to you one time and I said, you know, one of the wills that I had, still had, if my wife and I die together, who's going to watch our kids? Well, you know, my kids are 50, 46, and 47. I think they can watch over themselves. So what we need to let our viewers know that as you age, you probably need to update your will, don't you?
Absolutely. You know, everyone's life changes.
Yes.
You have certain things going on in your life in your 20s, 30s, and on toward retirement.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you start out just you and your wife, very little in most instances. You still need a will. If you don't have a will, the state of Alabama, through the Alabama Code, is going to determine who receives what out of your estate. Sometimes, you know, someone may receive something out of your estate that, quite frankly, you don't want to receive from your estate.
Absolutely.
And so it needs to be drawn in such a way that you ensure who you want to receive your estate, in fact, receives it. Now, as you grow older, of course, you have children. If you have children who are minors, then you need to determine what if something happened to you and your wife, who is going to take care of these children. So you need to name a guardian in that will. You may very well want to create a trust within that will, a testamentary trust, so that if something happens to you and your wife, then your estate can go into that trust to take care of and, you know, for the use of the children.
Mm-hmm.
You would need to determine who is going to be the trustee of that trust to make sure that those children receive those funds, or those funds are spent in such a way that those children are taken care of, whether it's for their health, their education, their welfare, whatever the case may be. And then as you get older in life, you're going to have grandchildren.
Yes.
And sometimes you want to ensure that those grandchildren are going to receive from your estate, separate and apart from your children or their parents.
Okay.
And so again, you can create a trust within your will to ensure that those grandchildren are going to receive funds that will help them, again, whether it's for their education, to take care of their health, whatever the case may be. But the beauty of a will and a trust is that it can be drawn in such a way that it will carry through exactly how you want it to be distributed. And you don't have to worry about anyone else deciding who gets what.
Mm-hmm. So basically what can happen, though, you have somebody that's watching over, in the case of if both of us died and you still
Absolutely.
have children, is there somebody that's watching over that person that's watching over? In other words, if the person that you chose to take care of the kids, if they say, well, we're not going to give the kids $1,000, we're going to give them $100, and we're going to keep $900 and go do something else.
Well, of course, the beneficiaries, which would be the children,
Right.
unfortunately, they would be minors. You know, they have the ability through someone to make sure that they're getting what they want.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the things we've done, of course, we've named co-guardians, we've named co-trustees, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now that, you know, sometimes co-trustees
Kind of
can
like
cause
watchdogs.
Exactly,
Yes,
it's
right.
watchdogs, but generally trustees need to agree before
Mm-hmm.
things are taken if you have co-trustees, you know.
Right.
So you need to make sure that whoever you want to serve both as executor of your will as well as trustees of any trust you have.
Mm-hmm.
It is someone that you absolutely trust,
Yes.
that you know that they're going to do what they're supposed to do. And I always encourage folks not only to name a primary executor for the will and a primary trustees, but also a secondary in the event that that first named person is unable to perform their responsibilities.
So as you're moving along, obviously there's, and I'll take things in decades, like you've gone from 30 to 40 to 50 to 60. Should you have your will maybe looked at every 10 years, or as different things happen to you in your life? Almost like a checkup for your,
Yeah,
medical. I mean, this is your...
I sort of, you know, I say every 5 years, but certainly
Okay.
every 10 years at a maximum time period, because people's lives change. You know, regardless of our age, we have different jobs, we have different income, we possess different property, we have children, or, you know, or we don't have children initially and then we do, and then they get to be the age of majority and they move on, and I decide I want to do something different because my children are success. They don't need my money any longer,
Right.
you know. And so I think it's very critical that you review your estate every 5 to 10 years to make sure it conforms with really what you want to do.
So if one of our viewers, if they already have a will, or if they don't have a will, which is even more critical, they need to come at least see you and at least show you where they're at this point, where you can advise them going forward.
Absolutely. It doesn't cost anything to come and talk to me.
Right.
And then if we make a determination, and if the client believes after we discuss everything that they need to update or have a will,
Mm-hmm.
then we can sit down and we can work all of that out.
Take it from that time.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, thank you for being here. I'm going to have you come back again because I want to talk to you about some things that happen when people get a little bit older, and sometimes they want to live together, but they may not want to get married for whatever reason,
Okay.
and just how they can protect each other.
I look forward to
Okay,
it.
absolutely.
Thank you.
And just remember this, just like your medical, your financial is an important part of your life. Make sure you get that checkup. As Brian said, at least every 5 years, but if not, perhaps every 10 years. And we'll be right back right after this.